Hello, my name is Ian Elliott. I represent the Central Washington Sentinel, an advocacy group providing alternate takes on current issues in Central Washington. In tonight's segment, we'll be posing questions to candidates about governmental transparency, the candidate's vision for the future of their jurisdiction, and how they will support economic opportunity in our county. All candidates were provided with questions beforehand and will be given 2 minutes to provide answers to each question. Before we get into the candidates' views, we'd like to offer a special thanks to Inland Networks and INTV for providing the production facilities and skills necessary to bring you these interviews. Okay, let's start off with our first question. You will have 2 minutes to introduce yourself and state the reasons you are running for this position.
My name's Cory Wright. Before I start, I just want to say thank you to the Central Washington Sentinels and INTV. Both organizations have done a great job here helping voters to be educated on the issues and understand who they are voting for. As candidates, we need to be accountable, and it's forums like this that help us to do that. I am honored to have been appointed as your District 1 County Commissioner and have spent the past year not only learning much, but also contributing much to the position and our county. While I may be new to this position, I am neither new to understanding our county nor managing large and complex operations. My family has lived in Kittitas County for 7 generations, with service in local government, civic organizations, and developing our landscape and agriculture. I've spent the past 20 years in private industry, gaining an immense amount of knowledge about what is required to not only manage a business, but more importantly, build success with thoughtful policy, ethical principles, and a long-term focus on positive, measurable results. I've now brought that to the executive position of your county government. I believe our best days are still ahead of us. Some may believe that the decisions and missteps of the past have put us at a disadvantage. I respectfully disagree. I believe many of the decisions rather have led us to a point of being poised at a crossroads. We have underused facilities, underdeveloped commercial land, and hold a strategic geographical position in our state. Our natural beauty is breathtaking and people want to live here. I believe the decisions of the next decade will truly chart the path of our future success. I'm excited for this opportunity, and I believe my broad experience building successful organizations makes me the right person for this job. However, I can give you the 3 most important reasons that best describe why I'm doing this. Laura, Carson, and Samantha. Those are my 3 children. I'm simply running to ensure we have a better county to pass on to them and everyone else who is raising a family here in Kittitas County. We all love our home, and I want all of our kids to have the opportunities to live and raise their own families here.
What is your vision for Kittitas County in 5 years, in 10 years, and long term?
Well, first, let's remember, in 2016, we were the 10th fastest growing county in the nation, so we better have a plan for this, and that's exactly what I'm working on. In 5 years, I think we're going to have a lot of our water questions well in hand. I see water as being the key to our future, and right now I'm working on that as your lead water commissioner. I've been your representative to the Yakima Basin Integrated Plan, working on not only ensuring that our agriculture has long-term water storage, but also our fisheries. When there are 300,000 sockeye returning to Lake Cle Elum, what an unprecedented sight this will be, not only in our history, but also for our state. In 10 years, I think we're going to be working on not only county impacts, but also impacts that are going to help our access to the other side and also ensure our long-term economic future. A 3rd lane on I-90, I believe, is critical, and right now we are just at the beginning stages of getting to that. I want to accelerate that as fast as I can. I think that's going to be a big part of moving us into the next period beyond that. And last, long-term, I see a county that has managed its land use. We see new and innovative solutions around pockets of density, while also retaining our rural character and our history, while growing economic opportunities. I look forward to the future of Kittitas County. I think our brightest days are yet before us.
What do you see as the essential difference between the upper and lower county?
Of course, the differences are easy to spot. There's different terrain, There's economies which have historically been built on different resources, but there's a lot more commonalities than there are differences. Both sides want to self-direct their future. We're all proud of our county. We're all proud of where we live, whether it's the upper or lower county. We're proud of our history. We want to see expansion of opportunities that respect that history, but give us a future for our children. We want to see our area cared for, to ensure that our environment is there as it stands now for future generations. And I think we want to see local control of our land as well, and not made by agencies outside of this region. We are 75% publicly owned in Kittitas County, and it's important that future decisions for the future are made by people who understand where we live and understand the history that brought us to this point. We also want to see equal investment at the right level. I had an interesting conversation a while back with talking about the expense of snow removal at Hyack, and this particular person told me, "Don't you know the county motto? From the Cascades to the Columbia." And that's something that I took to heart. No matter where we're spending our money, it's all in Kittitas County, and it's all going to benefit us in the long run. It's important, though, that our citizens understand where that money is spent and why we're spending it. Our lodging tax is a great example. The recent addition of the covered arena at the horse park is going to be a wonderful benefit to our county's economic future, and I'm proud to see it happen. It's the right place to spend that money, and I'm excited to see what's done with it. I think we're all concerned, though, with losing our character. Roslyn is a great example. When the mines closed, many were concerned about what would happen to the future of this community. But you know what? It survived and it's thriving, and we're all going to move forward together. And I'm excited for the collective future for all citizens in Kittitas County, Lower or Upper County.
What can Kittitas County do to create a robust and diverse economic environment in the county?
First, a great question to ask is, what is our identity? Companies survive on two reasons. Either they have a wide product line, such as General Electric, who builds everything from a light bulb to a jet engine to at one time capital financing, to small companies that thrive on a single brand that everybody recognizes. A great example is Yeti. They build coolers and coffee cups. If people want them, and they pay a premium for them, and Yeti's doing well. So we have two areas here, we would say, with an upper and a lower county with different ideas. But what's our brand? We have to identify our county brand and build on that. And that's going to take a lot of outreach and community discussion and dedication to finding that answer. We have to find industries that make sense for our county based on that brand that's developed, that bring family wage jobs. We have to find those industries that are also correct for our area, for our environment, for what we want to have in our future, and also industries that other industries want to join that aren't going to repel others, frankly, from wanting to live here. We have land to offer, but we also need to find the municipal tools that can augment that. We don't necessarily have a lot of land for certain things, such as heavy industry. We need to find ways to potentially, if the industry is right, augment those with zoning changes and find ways to increase those offerings. But we also need to work with our municipalities to further supplement what we can offer, our Clay Element industrial area. The second floors of Ellensburg's downtown could be great offices for technical engineering and different kind of industry sectors which can bring good jobs to our area. And let's get creative too. We don't have the tools that other areas do. Recently, a ballot was run on a port district. We are one of 6 counties in the state that don't have a port district. Now, this isn't a port district ad, and I'm not doing that, but since we don't, we do need to find other ways to do that. Port districts can market and give, but we can't legally under the state constitution, and that's okay. We're going to move forward without that. We need to bring new knowledge to the table, people who can truly change what we're offering. A great tool in our toolbox is the Public Development Authority. We have yet to really make use of that by bringing people to the table. I'm excited for our future.
How will you address the issue of affordable housing in Kittitas County?
Well, right now, I'm the chair of the Homelessness and Affordable Housing Committee for the county, and that's something that I specifically asked for. Coming out of the private sector, I wasn't really aware of the significance of the problem, but I thought I could bring some different knowledge to it, and I think we've done that. I don't believe it's a governmental duty to provide housing, but I do think government can use some tools to promote our markets to thrive. The funds the county has are not a tax, let's be clear on that, but they're a fee that is mandated by the legislature on our document recording fees. So it's money that you're not paying extra for out of your property taxes, but it is available to us to use, and we're going to do that. We have more homelessness funds actually than affordable housing. So it's important for us when we put these projects together to realize that we need to find ways to combine multiple missions into one solution. We need to leverage those funds as far as we can. We had a conversation at our Homelessness and Affordable Housing Committee about this very item. We need to work with our cities, and we need to work, especially in public-private partnerships, with our contractors and with our trades to figure out how we can provide new housing that's going to not only expand our market, but also keep our companies, our small businesses, moms and dads that are trying to put their own kids through school successful. We also need to examine our land use and lowering of barriers. We need to figure out new density pockets. In the expanse of the county, we have a lot of land, but right now we're limited. I think it's going to take some innovation and real solution building to figure out how we can find areas to maximize our density while keeping our rural character. Make use of our UGA. We also need to figure out where we can streamline our operations within government. I think we have, again, a lot of work before us, but I'm confident we can build the right solutions to help this issue.
As Kittitas County acquires land, what do you see as the best way to make that land productive?
Well, first off, we're 75% publicly owned, so I think it's important to limit our county acquisitions as much as possible. But if we do have to make them, they need to ideally serve multiple purposes. A great example is just off Canyon Road in the lower county, an area known as the Shockey Reach. We have recently acquired a piece of that as part of the Floodplains by Design program through the state legislature. Now that's being paid for not by the county but other areas, but we're going to hold title to it. And by doing that, we're going to serve multiple purposes by building new fish habitat, by taking historically problematic land out of developable land area, which means limited flood losses, which means less county infrastructure to take care of. But surprisingly, it also serves other purposes. Twin City Foods has historically been limited here because the local wastewater treatment plant can't process their effluent from their facility, so they've spread it to grow hay through a crop circle. They're going to be able to expand, and by doing so, we can bring back more jobs to our area. And that's exciting. It's exciting to see how solutions can come together. Another example, which is on the horizon, is examining these areas for possible wetland banking. If the county can provide those wetlands to offset other areas which could be used for commercial land, we can provide new opportunities for economic development. You know, another area to examine here is not just county land, but also federal land and state land, which is right now the majority of our county's land holdings. We've had some great conversations with the Forest Service about recreation management in the Upper County, and I think there's a place for the county to get involved to help local use, local control of local land, while providing assistance to the Forest Service and long-term stewardship.
How do you think Kittitas County can accommodate increased growth in rural areas of the county?
There's two halves to this answer. Even though we are one county, we still have a lower county and an upper county with different rural areas, and we need to examine it from both sides. First off, in the lower county, right now, lots outside of the urban area are limited to 5 acres. And that changed about 5, 6, 7 years ago, and we need to examine the results of what happened with that. Would we benefit from having small pockets of more density? I think it's important to bring new ideas and innovative solutions to the table. We all know we're facing an affordable housing problem, and we can also see what's happening to our rural areas when higher but more spread out housing occurs. It's important that we make the most while preserving the ability for our historic family farms to continue to survive. I think we all enjoy open space, and I know that we want to preserve not only our historic corridors to public land, but also the views that we all enjoy. We need to bring, as I said, new ideas to the table in terms of how to maximize that space. In the Upper County, it's unique in that there's really one road access in and out, the spine we would call it, the 903 corridor, and recognize that growth includes recreation when we start to get more and more people living here. I think we need to develop other access points from that area down by Cleellum up above to the last resort to Ronald, and find out alternative ways to get around that while preserving, as I said, open space. Another issue is examining what is available in terms of buildable lots, but currently limited by services. A great example is the area above Ronald. Could a local improvement district help that with sewage treatment or potential water? I think that we are going to have a lot of hard choices to make, but with some tough conversations and new ideas, we can solve these problems.
Do you support the hiring of a county manager? And how do you view that position?
I do support the hiring of a county manager at some point. I think the benefits are threefold. First off, the three-headed manager, which we are now, would go to a single point of contact and voice of direction. I think that's important. Having come from the private sector, I know the value of having a trusted relationship with a single supervisor, and I think we need to develop that here as well. A second benefit is institutional memory. While all three of your commissioners now are new, we all have different experiences. And by having a single county manager who has seen how decisions have been potentially made in the past and some of the possible ramifications, I think that bringing new ideas along with a sense of history will only help us to make better decisions for our long-term future. Third, I think it would help commissioners to focus on outward-facing policy, which really matters to the future of Kittitas County. Occasionally, we have the potential of getting bogged down in personnel issues, and I don't think that's where commissioners need to be focusing. We should be a policy-driven board and focused on how to solve the big issues: land use, the future of our water, getting a third lane on I-90. That's where our calories should best be burned. We also need to sell our county to state and federal legislative people, agencies, and also external businesses. We are the top executive position in this county, and we need to be speaking on the same level to our counterparts in other organizations. There are some drawbacks, I believe. A big one is complacency, I believe, on the part of the board in just assuming that the manager has it. You got to hire the right person, and that's important, and I recognize that. Another one is the right people are going to be needed. It's going to be a high-paying job, and that's a budgetary issue, impact that needs to be managed, and that's important. And last, concentration of power. Let's be honest. Let's not give it all to one person. Commissioners need to stay strong, but I think it's the right move for the long term.
What is your opinion of the state of operational transparency in Kittitas County?
Well, I think transparency is a focus for all of us at Kittitas County. I think the intent and effort is there, but I think we can improve. Public outreach has changed over the years. No longer do we have single newspapers published every day of the week, which everyone looks at for their information. We've changed to various other outlets. Social media is probably our biggest at this point, and I think the county needs to wrap their heads around how best to address that. Right now, I think our current model of relying on public notices buried in the classified section is not the best way to get out to our folks. And we need to really embrace social media and figure out a way to do that, but do it legally. It can present new pitfalls, and I think it's important to find the right person to help us develop a better strategy for outreach and also to inform people on what we're doing. We need to outwardly push our information. We need to pose questions to the public and figure out ways to collect that information and to help us make better decisions. I don't believe that a public hearing, while it is a very valuable tool, not everybody has a time or the ability to make it there, but we still want to get people's opinions. So it's going to be a brave new future for our county to figure out how to manage that, but I think we can do that. We also need to keep our public informed of processes currently in progress. Oftentimes, many people say, nobody told me, I think there should be a way for folks to be able to log in a convenient way and see where certain processes are. And last, we need to celebrate our successes. We need to push those out so people can see what their county government has accomplished and what it's doing for them.
How would you make Kittitas County government more user-friendly?
Well, first off, I think your government needs to recognize that business is handled differently in this day and age. Not all of our processes truly embrace the tools out there, especially through the internet and social media, to make our citizens' lives easier. I think we need to examine our online presence, figure out ways to make transactional business that is required with the county as easy and convenient as possible. Let's figure out ways to get your business done sitting from the comfort of your couch instead of driving to the courthouse. Another area is communications. How can we push out information instead of expecting folks to come to us? It's important that we're proactively getting the word out to our citizens so they can make better informed decisions. And we can as well. We need to examine our processes currently conducted by government and see what is actually conducted by law. Have we had mission creep? Have we gone outside of where we should be? And if we need to pare back, let's figure out a way to do that makes the processes that we have to do the best for not only you, but for our bottom line. We also need to be, I would call, say, an affirmative county. Oftentimes I talk to people who get frustrated because their projects or their dreams are dashed because there's not a full understanding of what is trying to be accomplished. Of course, it's not always possible to do what people want because we are a nation of laws. But we need to be understanding of that situation. People want to be heard and know that they matter. And I think that's a philosophical discussion which we need to, and is taking place at our county government. And last, quality management is very important to me. Policy, process, and procedure. I ran this with private industry. It builds a consistent product, and I think it would eliminate confusion of our public to know exactly how the business is being done and have a document on which to see what they can expect.
What do you see as the most important part of managing a county budget?
Well, first off, I think it's important as a commissioner trying to run a budget, it's important to understand that this is more than just numbers on a piece of paper. Those numbers have a story. In private business, if you want to preserve your bottom line, you can cut costs and save the money, or you can increase your revenue. You can sell more product, or you can expand your market. But in this case, expanding our revenue means that we are raising taxes. I just don't think that's healthy. I think we need to understand that revenue means people. And people, in this case, are the families of Kittitas County trying to accomplish their own dreams, trying to get their kids through school, trying to put the next meal on the table. So it's important that we do more with less and balance a sense of civic pride versus a wasteful image. We also need to understand that good times don't last forever. That's why every year we set aside a portion of our budget into a rainy day fund. 2008 was a painful time, and we don't want to repeat that. We want to be ready for the next economic downturn, and it will come one day. Your county government needs to be ready for it, and I believe we are accomplishing that. I think we also need to understand asset life cycles. It sounds like a technical term, but it's really simple. Your car eventually gets old, and you have to get another one. And I don't think we've done a good job of that at county government. I think we have a lot of facilities that have been neglected, not because of choice, but because of necessity. And that just means long-term strategic planning. And that's something that I've been involved with, and I think I can bring that to county government. Last is bonding. At some point, you have to make large investments. With the right plan, you can do a lot of good, but you can also get yourself out in places that you don't want to be and overextend yourself. I think we need to balance our dreams and our hopes for the future of the county with what we can truly expect to show our citizens that we're being good stewards of their money.
What experiences in your past do you think will benefit Kittitas County?
Well, first off, I spent 20 years in private industry. I don't have a government background, but what I do have is executive experience. And as the executive position in your county government, I think that is important. I have a long career. I started in operations management. I managed personnel, payroll, good workflows, making sure that I was out there every day, understanding what our employees went through. And as the personnel manager right now, of your county government, I think that's an important trait to have. I also worked in risk management, and I came to understand the power of small risks, small problems, which can form together into a much larger problem, which means financial and also employee morale issues, if not managed wisely. I've seen the results of that, and I'm a believer in drilling down and finding out where the problem is to ensure that larger problems are avoided. I've also spent time in quality management. At the time, I had no idea really how valuable this would be in my future, and I think that's what I really bring to county government. I understand that a reliance on a policy with underlying processes and procedures develops a consistent product, and employees know how to react, and customers know what to expect, and you're our customer. So we need to focus on our quality management systems and ensuring that you know what you're going to get every time you walk in our doors. And the last, sales and business development, which I had a great time, and I find that this is a wonderful trait to have now. I've been the county rep now for the Yakima Basin Integrated Plan, and I had the honor of going to Washington, D.C. And I felt like I closed the deal. And I was a bit of a rookie quarterback winning the Super Bowl because we did get federal legislation passed, and that's thanks to a lot to my predecessor who did a lot of work. But I believe it was my sales and business development experience that put our county's best foot forward. I'm excited to bring those qualities to Kittitas County.
What can county government do to solve future social and income inequality issues as the county grows?
Well, first off, I think we need to leverage resources. Social and income inequality is a problem which affects our entire nation, which means every level of government should be working to figure out how to put those dollars into place where they have the best effect. And I think as your county representative, we need to be out there leveraging those resources from other organizations, and that's what I've been doing. We also need to choose which problems require assistance, because we actually have a strategy in place. I don't want to throw money at issues which we can't measure results. In fact, it's so important, I wrote it down 3 times: measure results, measure results, measure results against predefined expectations. That means if we're going to spend $1, we better know what that dollar is going to get us. You know, recently on the Homelessness and Affordable Housing Committee, we've been examining our long-term strategy for how to battle the homelessness issue here. And one of the areas that rose to the top was our senior population, which we see as a real area of focus over the next few years with the baby boomers. And we chose to permanently fund senior rent assistance because we saw the result that we were going to get out of that. For a population that has spent their entire life working, the person putting groceries in the bag at the local Safeway, who couldn't quite save enough for their retirement and has to rely on Social Security, in the face of a housing market that's changing, we need to make sure that they can stay there and be taken care of for the long term. And we're going to fund that. And I think it's areas like that where we can best address the problems of social and income inequality. My name is Cory Wright, and I'm your Kittitas County District 1 Commissioner. Just over a year ago, I was appointed to this position. It's been the honor of a lifetime to serve my county and represent it all across this nation. I want to thank Central Washington Sentinel and INTV for putting together this opportunity for me and other candidates to express our views. I also want to thank them for giving you the education that you need to make the right choice. Please remember to vote before November 4th. Make sure that ballot's not sitting on the table on November 5th. This is an important decision. Make sure that you get that done. In closing, thank you for your support, and thank you for watching.
That concludes our interview. I'm Ian Elliott with the Central Washington Sentinel, and we'd like to thank you for watching. Also, we'd like to thank INTV for their production of this series. If you'd like to watch other interviews, please check out our website at centralwashingtonsentinel.com. And please don't forget to vote.